friends, welcome to Yuva Karyakrama. A very happy National Youth Sunday to you.
The second Sunday of August is observed as National Youth Sunday, declared by the CCBI National Youth Commission.
Today, we have our National Youth Director, the Reverend Father Chetan Machado, answering the questions of the youth. Send any of your questions on the youth ministry to the below number immediately.
For the youth icon, we have a special national level youth personality who has made the Catholic India proud at an international level.
And in the Youth Talent Expo, experience the wow performance from our friends of the Bangalore Archdiocese.
You also have an opportunity to win cash prizes if you answer very simple questions towards the end of the program.
Stay tuned till the end.
from Bangalore. Today's youth icon is a national personality. She is picked by United Nations Secretary General as the one of a youth advisory for addressing the issue of climate change. It is a privilege given to very few youth in the world. She is a research scholar, was a student president at Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai. She had represented India in many international events, passionate about working for the right of the indigenous tribes, and many more feathers to add to a cap.
Johar. Hello everyone, this is Archana Soreng from Sundargarh district of Odisha, India. I belong to Kharya tribal community. I'm currently working as research officer in Vasundhara, Odisha, an action research and policy advocacy organization working on natural resource governance, tribal rights and climate justice.
Congratulations, dear Archana, for being selected as one of the members of United Nations Secretary General's Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change. For a small town in Odisha to United Nations, how do you feel and how did it all happen?
I come from a tribal community, a community whose relationship with nature is intertwined with nature and forest. My own community members, my own family members have been protecting forest and nature through the community-led forest protection committee in our own villages. My father has been one of the practitioners of indigenous knowledge in terms of the healthcare. And coming from the tribal background, when I pursued my education from Tata Institute of Social Sciences and Mumbai, and when I read about environmental regulation, I firmly felt that it is the indigenous community members, Adivasi and forest dwelling communities members, who have been contributing a lot towards forest conservation. But there is very need of documenting those traditional knowledge and practices and highlighting their role in combating climate crisis, and that is how I felt it is we indigenous youth or the youth from the tribal community who have to document, write and research about this traditional knowledge and practices. And that is how post my masters I have been working in Odisha since last 2 years, where I have been going to various districts and villages of Adivasi and forest dwelling communities and documenting, understanding and researching their traditional knowledge and practices and how they are conserving nature. Having said that, I have also been part of Yongo, the formal youth constituency of UNFCCC, and I had been part of UNCCD COP14, which was held last year, and was also part of youth engagement with the UNCCD and UNEP executive director. And last year I was also part of the 66th session of Committee on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights in Geneva, and I represented there as the only indigenous youth from India, and the theme of the session was International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights and Land. Having said that, these are my few engagements in UN process, and I have been associated with the youth groups in my community here in Odisha and also the environmental youth groups in India. So this is how I have been working in this entire domain, and I am very grateful for having been selected as the United Nations Secretary General's Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change. And I am very happy and I seek your support and cooperation, and I'll be soon interacting with you, learning from you as to how we can together work in this climate action.
Wow, that's really great, Archana. It's a long and tough journey, but you did it. I'm sure you had many people who stood by you in your life journey. Who is your role model in life? In a special way, what prompted you to work for ecology and rights of indigenous people?
When I talk about inspiration, the first name which comes in my mind is my father. My father has been one of uh, the person whom I have looked up to, because he has been contributing towards recognition of rights of our tribal communities, and also has been tremendously worked in terms of this traditional knowledge and practices of the Adivasi and forest dwelling communities and forest conservation. Having said that, he was one of the practitioner of the indigenous healthcare practices, and when I lost him in 2017, that is when I realized, that this transition knowledge which our ancestors have of forest protection or conservation of nature is something which has to be passed on to the youth or the young generation, because until and unless we know this traditional knowledge and practices, we ourselves are not equipped or will be able to continue these legacies or these traditions and cultures. And that is how I felt it is very important to document this, because now we have a family and relatives, but tomorrow they will not be there. So how will our upcoming generation believe on those practices and continue doing those practices is something. So it is very important to have documented all those things, and that is how I started working on documenting and researching of the traditional knowledge and practices.
Nice to know about the wonderful people who inspired you. I heard you were active in church activities. How has your Catholic faith and upbringing helped you in your life journey?
A church has always said that, love your neighbors as yourself. So I feel this particular statement is something which has been very, inspiring, or I have been reflecting in this particular sentences, because verses of Bible, because I feel, how do we reflect on who is a neighbor? I think it is we need to reflect that neighbors are not only human beings, but neighbor is our nature and wildlife and biodiversity all together, and we need to love and protect them as we love our neighbors and our relatives and near and dear ones. And that is how we need to inculcate in ourselves the feeling of conservation.
It's very inspiring to know that for most of us, faith in God has been big support. What are your plans and dreams in preserving nature, and how can the youth people be part of it?
Our church also teaches about the communitarian approach of uh, celebration or coming together, or in terms of sharing. And that is how I feel there is an important role in terms of youth. So I have been part of All India Catholic University Federation, and I have been national convener of Tribal Commission, one of the thirst areas of ICUP, and also I have been an active member of ICYM. So I feel youth have a lot of potential to work on this regards in terms of combating climate crisis. And I just want to make it very clear, like, we all youth want to have a good life, we all youth want to live, have our parents, our loved ones, job, employment. But it is only when we are alive that we can get all this, or when we can achieve all this. And for us to be alive right now is the climate crisis which we are facing and which will be affecting us. So we have to sustainably use the resources. We have to be mindful of the way of living which we have now, and that is how only we will be able to combat climate crisis.
Happy to know that, and we need more and more young people to get involved in the cause of nature. We assume our support in all your endeavors. My final question for you is, what is your message to all the youth who are lost in faith in themselves, in the church and in society?
First thing which I want to say to the youth is, understand and accept that climate crisis is happening, and you need to raise your voice now, not only for yourself but for the upcoming generation. Second is, create sharing circles and talk about how to proactively write, sing, or creatively engage in this discourse of climate action. Third is like, how do we involve or utilize the space, collective space given by the church to bring a collective decision and collective action in terms of climate action. And the last thing which I want to specifically emphasize is that the traditional knowledge and practices of the indigenous people have an alternative to major environmental crises, like plastic pollution or a water crisis or forest fires. When I say about plastic pollution, the indigenous communities have been using leaf plates, which is an alternative to the plastic waste and plastic plates. They have been making chairs, tables, and a lot of architecture things through the leaf of date plants. They are using earthen pots, or all these alternatives can be also adopted by the mainstream cities. So when I say the bags which they are making, so why not purchase those traditional architecture things and the products of indigenous communities rather than using more of plastic? So at the end of the day, it is we who can bring in change, and we have the power to bring in change. Let us reflect the way of our living and be mindful of the practices which we are adopting, and how we can reduce the wastage or generation of waste, and how we can lead an eco-friendly life. So once again, thank you everyone. Youth for nature. Let us go ahead with this slogan, youth for nature, and we youth will act for climate action. Thank you.
Welcome to Face with the experts. As we observe the National Youth Sunday today, we have with us our National Youth Director, Reverend Father Chetan Machado, who will be answering queries on youth movement, youth ministry, etc. Do send us your questions to the below number. Father Chetan, lovingly called as CM, is a priest from the Delhi Diocese. He has vast experience in accompanying young people at various capacities. He was the Diocesan Youth Director, the Regional Youth Director, and now he is the National Youth Director. He has conducted several training programs at the national and at the international level. Now, let us listen to the questions from the youth.
Hello, Father. I was a very active youth member in one of the youth groups, but my youth animator took advantage of me and even to the abuse. Ever since, I've stopped all my association with the youth group, though I am interested in being a part of the group. How can you help me?
I'm glad that you asked this question, and I'm sure there are a lot of young people who are not part of the youth group just because there is some kind of abuse. There are occasions where they are not given importance, they are not listened to. There are many such issues that we face in our youth groups. If possible, you go to the higher ups, if it is the parish priest or bishop, whoever it is, and report and tell them that, okay, we are not very happy with this animator, so kindly give us an animator who understands us. Most of the groups, in many places I have seen, it is young people who ask for an animator, and you decide who should be your animator, other than priests, of course. So if that is done, I think your problem is sorted out. If not, you can't do much. We can't do much. If it is a priest, for example, he will be there for 4 years, 3 years, 6 years, but then a new priest will come. Things will change. And other advice that I would like to give you, if you have still problem with this animator and he is going to continue for a long time, there are other places where you can do your ministry, youth ministry. You can visit people, youth ministry is not just organizing a few programs in the parish and then show up there and all that. No. You can still visit some young people, you can still talk to young people in the parish, you can still attend programs. So these things you need to do. When you are not a member, you can still be part of the ministry, And later, when the new animator comes or takes over, I think that is the time you go again and then participate actively, being a member. Staying back and saying no, because of this animator, I am not going to be the part of this group, I am not going to join for any activity. That is a wrong attitude, I think. We should have always a positive attitude. Even when there are difficulties, I will still go and do something. It is not for the parish, it is not for the animator, it is for my own growth and the growth of the young people in the parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for the reassurance you gave to us by answering the question. Let's move to our next caller.
Hi, Father. I am interested to take part in all the activities of the youth movement, but for any program I have to spend all the money, which discourages me from participating in it, since I can't afford. How can the church help me?
There are a lot of young people who think like this because of their financial status. They don't consider sometimes joining the youth group because they are not able to contribute, they are not able to give membership fees or registration fees. I understand there is a problem. We need to consider 2 points here. The first one is, if we have decided, if the group has decided that we should charge a little membership fee, and then every time we organize a program, some registration fee, that is the time you need to speak, like what is our capacity to contribute, 100 rupees, 50 rupees, whatever it is, we need to speak out. And if we are not able to, let us keep it low, but some token membership fee or registration fee is necessary. You know why? You feel belong. Because I have contributed, I then own it. So that kind of contribution is always encouraged and it is good. But if there is something more, like we have a lot of picnics, we have parties, barbecues and many such things, and there you need to contribute, and then to become part of that little youth group you need to pay, I think that is not right. So such things can always be sorted out in your meetings. You need to talk to your animator, priest. These events shouldn't be part of your ministry, youth group, because they create a little imbalance. So if that is happening, I think you need to always talk to your animator and priest in charge and distinguish or separate them from the ministry. But otherwise, just because I don't have the capacity to contribute, I don't have a little money to pay, I think that should never be the reason to withdraw or stay away from the parish youth group. There are people who are not able to contribute. They contribute whatever they can and they are still members of the parish community. Similarly, you need to be the member of the youth group even when you are not able to contribute much, but whatever you can, little bit, I think that will be your contribution to the youth group. That has to be done depending on your capacity.
Thank you, Father, for your support and encouragement. Let's move on to our third caller.
Hello, Father. In my church, youth are very active, but I cannot involve in it since youth group is only for elite and talented youth. How can I get involved, Father?
This whole question of elite groups based on languages, some places even caste, it is very unfortunate. I remember in one of the parishes where I was posted, we used to have 2 youth groups. Elite group spoke English, the other group spoke Hindi. But then there was a lot of competition between these 2 groups and it was very difficult to understand the whole mentality. Now how do you sort it out? Who made someone elite? Who made someone very poor or a second class group? I think it is our problem. Sometimes I consider myself as a second class citizen. I think that is the problem. You need to consider yourself elite. You go and join the group and be part of the group and start doing something meaningful. There may be a time where you are not considered, your opinion is not taken. Don't worry, it will take some time. See, sometimes we think that those are elite people, hi-fi, English speaking, so I can't fit in there. It is not like that. Sometimes initiative doesn't come from them. I need to take initiative, go there, become part of the group, and then start doing something meaningful. I think things will change.
Thank you, Father, for the clarity you gave us on youth involvement in youth groups. Now, let's move on to the last caller of the day.
Hi, Father. In this modern world, when we face so many challenges, how can I get myself involved in the church activities?
See, these challenges of the modern world shouldn't block us from getting ourselves involved in a parish youth group or any parish youth ministry or diocesan youth ministry. Why is this question? What is blocking us? How can I get involved? How can I get involved? I can do a lot of things only when I go and join the youth group. Now, if I am busy with my gadgets, busy with my virtual friends, busy with my YouTube and Facebook and WhatsApp, and then there is no question of getting myself involved in a parish youth group, because there you need to spend time, you need to make a sacrifice. So that has to be taken care of first, and then the involvement part. See, in a parish there are a lot of things to do, a lot of things like teaching catechism, visiting elderly people, helping out in the Sunday school, helping out in Vincent de Paul Society. There are many organizations in the parish where you can contribute, you can do a lot of things there, provided you have time. If your gadgets, if your media takes all your time, and then you have no time for the church, for spirituality, for your own growth, and that is where the problem that we are facing a lot of problems.
Thank you, Father, for spending your valuable time with us. I'm sure many youth would have had similar questions in their minds and would have got an answer from you today. We will take forward your advice to take active part in youth groups. We, the youth of the Bangalore Archdiocese, are grateful to you for spearheading the National Youth Commission and guiding the youth of India. We assure you our prayers and support in all your endeavors. Thank you.
It's time to say goodbye, but before that, let's congratulate Yuva Karyakrama champion of this week. And the winner is Mr. Tony J. Suraj from St. Anthony's Church, Cheesapalya, Bangalore. Congratulations, dear Tony, and you will get the cash prize from Bangalore Archdiocese Youth Committee, Yuva Chetan. And this week's question is, what is the theme of National Youth Sunday this year? Text your answers to the below numbers immediately. And friends, thank you for your support and encouragement for Yuva Karyakrama, a program for the youth and by the youth of Bangalore Archdiocese. You can collaborate with us with whatever way possible. You can get in touch with us through our email ID icymbangalore@gmail.com. Please share this program with your friends and family. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Once again, a very happy National Youth Sunday. Let's meet next week. Until then, goodbye, take care, keep smiling. God bless you all.